The fluorescent lights of the airport VIP lounge buzzed like a swarm of angry bees, casting harsh shadows on the polished marble floor where Nathaniel and his twin brother Alex sat. Their legs tangled in exhausted relief after a red-eye flight from New York to Los Angeles. At 22, they had chased dreams across coasts, Nathaniel sketching feverish lines in his journal, Alex pitching startup ideas to venture capitalists, but nothing prepared them for the uniformed attendant's clipped voice slicing through the air. "Excuse me, sirs. Those seats are reserved for priority passengers only. You'll need to move." Nathaniel's heart stuttered, not from the words, but from the way Alex's hand tightened on his knee under the armrest. A silent vow forged in childhood secrets that no stranger could unravel. In that frozen instant, the lounge's murmur of elite chatterlawyers on calls, executives sipping overpriced coffee faded to a dull roar in Nathaniel's ears. He glanced at Alex, whose jaw clenched in that familiar way, the twin bond pulling taut like a wire about to snap. Their mother, Elena, who had insisted on upgrading their tickets as a surprise for their birthday, rose from her adjacent seat with the grace of a panther. Her tailored blazer unbuttoned just enough to reveal the edge of a business card tucked in her pocket like a loaded gun. "Priority," she echoed, her voice a velvet blade, eyes locking onto the attendant's badge. "Let me introduce myself properly." Elena's hand moved with deliberate calm, slipping the card into the attendant's palm, a simple white rectangle embossed with gold lettering. Elena Vasquez, CEO, Vasquez Innovations. The name alone carried the weight of boardrooms conquered, patents filed, and a tech empire built from a garage in East LA. But beneath the corporate sheen lay the heart of a woman who had buried her own dreams to raise two boys who looked like mirrors of each other, yet walked paths worlds apart. The attendant's face drained of color, stammering apologies as he backed away, radioing frantically to his supervisor. Within minutes, a harried man in an ill-fitting suit, the airline's regional director, appeared, sweat beading on his forehead. "Mrs. Vasquez, I assure you, this is a misunderstanding. Please, stay seated. Can I get you anything? Champagne. A private escort to the gate." Elena waved him off with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, sinking back into her chair and squeezing Nathaniel's hand. "We're fine. Thank you. Just remember, family comes first always." As the director scurried away, Nathaniel felt a rush of heat to his cheeks, not from embarrassment, but from the fierce love blooming in his chest. It was moments like this that anchored him, reminding him that the world might try to push you aside, but blood and chosen blood fought back harder. That incident in the lounge was the spark, but Nathaniel's story had been smoldering for years. A quiet fire fed by whispers in the night and stolen glances that reshaped his soul. Born in the sun-baked sprawl of Los Angeles 22 years ago, he and Alex had entered the world hand in hand, two halves of a whole, their cries echoing through the delivery room like a duet of defiance. Elena, a single mother at 26, fresh from Mexico with an engineering degree clutched like a lifeline, named them after biblical wanderers, Nathaniel for the gift of God, Alex for the defender of men, hoping their names would shield them from the storms she knew too well. Their childhood unfolded in the shadow of the Hollywood Hills, in a modest bungalow where bougainvillea climbed the stucco walls and the scent of Elena's tamales filled the air on Sundays. Nathaniel remembered the first fracture in their perfect symmetry at age 8. During a Little League game under the relentless California sun, Alex, ever the athlete, cracked a home run that sent the ball sailing into the outfield weeds, the crowd erupting in cheers. Nathaniel, batting next, gripped the bat so tightly his knuckles whitened. But when the pitch came, his swing connected with nothing but air. Strike 1, 2, 3. He trudged back to the dugout, head down, as teammates jeered softly, Swing like your brother, Nate. And Alex slung an arm around him, whispering, "Hey, it's just a game. You're the one who draws the stars better than anyone." That night, under the covers with a flashlight beam cutting through the darkness of their shared room, Nathaniel confessed his fear in halting whispers. "What if I'm not good at anything? Alex, what if I'm broken?" Alex, propped on one elbow, his face illuminated like a ghost story hero, punched his shoulder lightly. "You're not broken, dummy. You're just you. And that's enough for me." They sealed it with a pinky swear, the kind that bound twins tighter than blood. And Nathaniel fell asleep to the rhythm of Alex's breathing, dreaming of worlds where differences didn't divide. But as the years blurred into adolescence, those dreams cracked under the weight of puberty's cruel mirror. At 14, their bodies stretched tall and lean, faces sharpening into the handsome lines of young men who turned heads at school assemblies. Alex blossomed into the star quarterback, his easy charm drawing crowds of friends and the first fumbling kisses from cheerleaders at backyard parties. Nathaniel, meanwhile, retreated into sketchbooks filled with charcoal portraits, ethereal boys with windswept hair, their eyes holding secrets he couldn't name. In the locker room after gym class, he'd avert his gaze from the casual nudity of teammates, a flush creeping up his neck that he blamed on the steam from the showers. It started small, a lingering hug from his art teacher, Mr. Harlan. After praising a watercolor of a sunset over the Pacific, "You capture the soul of things, Nathaniel. Don't ever lose that sensitivity." The words warmed him, but so did the brush of Harlan's hand on his shoulder, a touch that sent sparks through his veins unlike anything he'd felt watching Alex flirt across the cafeteria. Guilt followed like a shadow, twisting his stomach into knots. Was this wrong? The Bible studies at Elena's church spoke of sins that burned in hellfire, and the boys at school tossed around slurs like fag for anyone who didn't roughhouse hard enough. Nathaniel buried it deep, plastering on smiles for family dinners where Elena regaled them with tales of her latest Inventiona solar-powered water purifier that could change villages back home. One humid August evening, as cicadas hummed outside their window, the dam broke. Alex burst into their room post-practice, jersey sweat-soaked, tossing a football at Nathaniel's desk. "Dude, you gotta come to the party Friday. Sarah Jenkins asked about yous as you're cute when you zone out drawing." Nathaniel's pencil snapped in his grip, the lead scattering like his resolve. "I'm not going," he muttered, staring at the half-finished sketch of a boy with Alex's eyes but softer lips. Alex flopped onto the bed, propping his head on his hands. "Come on, Nate. You've been a ghost lately. What's eating you?" The words hung heavy, and Nathaniel's throat tightened. He wanted to spill it all, the confusion that woke him at night. Heart pounding, imagining hands that weren't Sarah's but someone else's, strong and gentle. Instead, he choked out, "Just tired of pretending." Alex sat up, concern etching his brow. "Pretending what?" Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring, until Nathaniel whispered, "That I'm like you. That I like boys." The admission landed like a thunderclap, the room spinning as Alex's eyes widened not in horror, but in dawning understanding. For a heartbeat, Nathaniel braced for rejection, the twin bond fraying at the edges. But Alex lunged forward, pulling him into a bear hug that smelled of grass and Gatorade. "Idiot," he mumbled into Nathaniel's hair. "I've known since we were kids. You think I didn't notice how you looked at that painting of David in the museum? Or how you blush around cute guys in movies?" Laughter bubbled up, raw and relieving, as Nathaniel clung back, tears soaking Alex's shirt. "You're not disgusted." Alex pulled away, gripping his shoulders. "Disgusted? You're my brother, Nate. Gay, straight, whatever you read, the other half of me." And if anyone gives you shit, they answer to me first. That night marked the first turning point. A fragile bridge over the chasm of fear. Elena found out 2 weeks later, walking in on the mid-whispered strategy session about how to navigate high school without outing Nathaniel prematurely. She froze in the doorway, takeout bags dangling from her fingers, the scent of carnitas wafting forgotten. Boys. Her voice was steady, but her eyes those fierce. Protective eyes searched Nathaniel's face like she was reading code. He braced for the lecture. The prayers. The disappointment of a mother who'd fled machismo in Mexico only to raise sons who challenged every norm. Instead, Elena set the bags down and pulled up a chair, her lab coat still dusted with prototype sawdust. "Tell me everything," she said, not as CEO or churchgoer, but as the woman who'd bandaged skinned knees and chased away nightmares. Nathaniel stumbled through it, words tumbling like spilled ink. The confusion, the isolation, the terror of losing them. When he finished, silence wrapped the room, broken only by the tick of the wall clock. Then Elena reached across, cupping his face. "Mijo, love isn't a switch you flip off. It's the core of who you are. And if God made you this way, who are we to question it?" Alex nodded vigorously, and for the first time, Nathaniel breathed without the weight of secrecy crushing his lungs. High school became a battlefield after that. Victories hard won amid the skirmishes of ignorance. Alex ran interference like a linebacker, shutting down whispers with glares that could curdle milk, while Elena hosted family meetings over homemade churros, dissecting articles on LGBTQ rights and sharing stories of her queer colleagues at Vasquez Innovations. Nathaniel tested the waters tentatively, joining the GSA club under the alias Nate V, where rainbow flags fluttered like promises, sketching portraits for the yearbook that captured classmates' hidden depths, earning quiet thanks from a shy violinist who came out to him in the art room. Yet the kinks in the armor showed. At 16, during a school dance where strobe lights painted the gym in electric hues, Nathaniel danced with Mia, a kind-hearted girl from debate club, her laughter a safe harbor. But across the floor, he caught sight of Jordantal, with a mop of blonde curls and a laugh that cut through the bass like sunlight. Jordan, the debate captain who'd argued passionately for marriage equality in assembly, his voice steady and sure. Their eyes met, and Nathaniel's world tilted, the music fading to a distant thrum. He excused himself, fleeing to the balcony where the night air cooled his fevered skin. Jordan followed minutes later, leaning on the railing with a casual grace that belied his nerves. "Hey, Nate. You okay? Looked like the zombie apocalypse hit you in there." Nathaniel managed a laugh, shaky as autumn leaves. "Just crowds. A beat." Then Jordan's voice softened. "Or maybe it's the guy who's been staring at you all semester." The confession hung, vulnerable and electric, and Nathaniel's heart soared, then plummeted, joy warring with the fear of what came next. They talked until the chaperones herded everyone inside, words weaving tentative threads, shared playlists of indie folk, dreams of art school for Nathaniel, law for Jordan. No kisses that night, but a promise exchanged in the parking lot. "Text me when you're ready." Their first date was a disaster wrapped in magic. A rainy afternoon at the Getty Museum, where marble statues stood sentinel to stolen glances. Nathaniel, dressed in his best jeans and a sweater that hugged his frame, fidgeted as they wandered the gardens, rain pattering on umbrella leaves. "This is cheesy, right?" Jordan teased, bumping shoulders. "Art nerds unite." But when they ducked into an alcove to escape a downpour, the space shrank, charged with unspoken want. Jordan's hand found Nathaniel's, fingers interlacing like puzzle pieces long separated. And in that moment, with Van Gogh's irises blazing nearby, Nathaniel kissed him soft, tentative, tasting of peppermint and possibility. Words spread like wildfire through the hallways of Lincoln High. A mix of support and venom. Lockers scrawled with faded rainbows clashed against slurs scratched in bathroom stalls. And Nathaniel's stomach knotted each morning. Alex's truck idling extra long at drop-off. Elena ramped up her advocacy, donating to the school's diversity fund and inviting Jordan for dinner, where her famous mole sauce became the backdrop to awkward small talk that bloomed into easy laughter. "You're good for him," she told Jordan later, washing dishes while the boys studied in the living room. "He lights up around you. Don't let the world dim that." But the world had teeth. At 17, during Pride Month, Nathaniel and Jordan marched in the LA parade, hands linked under a sea of flags rainbow. Trans. By the crowd's roar a balm to old wounds. Alex walked beside them, sign hoisted high, twins for equality. His grin defiant. Elena led the family contingent, her voice joining the chants. A far cry from the quiet immigrant who'd once hidden her accent to fit in. Yet that night, as confetti still clung to their clothes, a brick shattered the bungalow's front window, shards glittering like cruel stars on the porch. Scrawled on it in marker, "Fags go home." The violation lingered, a scar that deepened Nathaniel's doubts. What if it's always like this? He confessed to Jordan over late-night calls, voice muffled by pillow. Jordan's reply was fierce, "Then we fight smarter. Love harder. You're not alone, Nate." Therapy sessions followed. Elena's insistence, "We're DR." Raisa's soft-spoken queer Latina unraveled the threads of shame woven from church pews and playground taunts. Nathaniel journaled furiously, pages filling with raw poetry, lines about mirrors that lied, twins who reflected truths too bright to bear. By 18, graduation caps tossed under stadium lights marked a threshold. Alex headed to USC on a football scholarship, his dorm room already buzzing with frat invites, while Nathaniel deferred community college for a gap year interning at a queer youth center in West Hollywood. Jordan, bound for UCLA pre-law, promised weekend drives up the coast. The summer stretched golden, filled with beach bonfires where they roasted marshmallows and shared dreams. Nathaniel's of illustrating graphic novels about hidden histories, Jordan's of dismantling unjust laws. Elena watched from afar, her company thriving but her heart tethered to her son's growth, whispering prayers not for change, but for strength. The fracture came unexpectedly, a seismic shift in the autumn of their freshman year. Alex called late one night, voice thick with something unnamed. "Nate, I think I get it now." Over speakerphone, with Elena listening from the kitchen. He came out not as gay, but as bi. The revelation tumbling out after a party hookup with a guy from his dorm that felt more real than any cheerleader fling. "It's like I've been playing a role. You know, defending you so hard 'cause I was scared of me." Nathaniel's laugh was watery, relief flooding like rain after drought. "Welcome to the club, bro. Pinky swear still holds." Elena's response was a fierce hug when Alex visited home, her tears salting the mole she reheated for his favorite meal. "My boys," she murmured. "You've made me prouder than any patent." The family dynamic shifted. No longer protector and protected, but allies in a shared vulnerability. Nathaniel thrived in his internship, facilitating art workshops for trans kids sketching their authentic selves, while Jordan interned at a legal aid clinic, filing briefs for asylum seekers fleeing conversion camps. Yet life, that relentless architect, tested their foundations again at 20. Jordan's ambition pulled him toward a prestigious clerkship in San Francisco, a 2-hour drive that stretched into emotional chasms. "It's just temporary," he assured Nathaniel during a weekend visit, their bodies tangled in sheets that smelled of salt air from a Santa Monica stroll. But distance bred doubt. texts growing sporadic amid case files and coffee-fueled all-nighters. Nathaniel poured his ache into canvas's abstract swirls of blue and gold. Longing rendered in oil while Alex, sidelined by a knee injury that ended his football dreams, pivoted to sports journalism, his bylines in campus papers echoing his newfound voice. The breaking point arrived in a voicemail. Jordan's voice strained, "Nate, I love you, but law school's killing me. I need space to figure this out as me. Everything." The words eviscerated, leaving Nathaniel hollow, wandering the beaches at dawn where waves erased footprints like forgotten promises. Elena found him there, thermos of café con leche in hand, and sat silently until he spoke. "Did I do something wrong, Mom? Was I too much?" She pulled him close, her embrace a fortress. "No, Mijo. Love isn't a contract you sign once. Sometimes it bends, breaks, to make you stronger. You'll rise from this, brighter." Grief became gestation. Nathaniel channeled it into a solo exhibit at the Youth Center, Reflections Unbroken, Portraits of Queer Families. Twins entwined in color, mothers with eyes like shields. Jordan attended the opening, uninvited but compelled, his apology a quiet storm in the corner gallery. "I was scared, Nate, of failing you, of failing at this life we dreamed." Forgiveness wasn't instant, but it bloomed tentative, rebuilt on coffee dates and honest talks about ambition's toll. By 21, they stood firmer. Jordan commuting weekends, Nathaniel enrolling in art school at CalArts, his thesis exploring twinship through queer lenses. The airport incident, 2 years later, crystallized an alum microcosm of battles won and waged. As the plane taxied to the gate, Nathaniel squeezed Alex's hand, Elena's laughter bubbling ahead. To New York, she toasted with airline pretzels. For the twins' big picture graphic novel adaptation. Nate and Alex's sports docuseries. Jordan, seated across the aisle, winked, his ring simple titanium, exchanged last spring catching the light. The world had tried to unseat them. From playground jeers to shattered glass. From distant miles to whispered doubts. But here, in the hum of ascent, they soared unbroken. In the years that followed, Nathaniel's novel became a bestseller. Pages alive with stories of boys who loved fiercely, mothers who built empires of empathy. Alex's series won Emmys. Spotlights on athletes coming out mid-career. Elena expanded Vasquez's innovations to include AI for mental health in marginalized communities. Her TED Talk, The Code of Family, going viral. And Jordan, now a rising litigator, argued the landmark case that struck down the last sodomy laws in holdout states. Nathaniel in the gallery, sketching Justice's face. Through it all, the twin bond endured. A compass in chaos. On their 30th birthday, back in that same bungalow now expanded with a studio for Nathaniel's easel, they raised glasses under string lights. Elena beaming, Jordan's hand in Nathaniel's. To seats reclaimed. Alex toasted. And the moms who hand over the cards that change everything. Laughter echoed, rich with history, as Nathaniel met his twin's eyes, seeing not just reflection, but refraction, a life bent by love, emerging radiant. The end wasn't an arrival, but a horizon, stretching toward sunsets painted in every color of the flag. Nathaniel knew now, identity wasn't a seat to defend, but a journey to claim, with family as the unyielding map. And in every sketch, every argument won, every hug exchanged, he drew the truth that to be seen, truly seen, was the greatest VIP pass of all. The roar of the New York subway rattled through the platform at rush hour, a metallic heartbeat underscoring the city's relentless pulse. As Nathaniel descended the stairs 2 at a time, sketchpad tucked under his arm like a shield. At 24, he had traded the sandy beaches of LA for the concrete canyons of Manhattan. His CalArts degree fresh in his pocket and a junior position at a boutique publishing house hungry for fresh voices. But the dream that propelled him east wasn't just ink on pages. It was the ache to tell stories that mirrored the fractures and fusions of his own heart tales of twins navigating the labyrinth of self-discovery. Where love bent but never broke. His first week blurred into a frenzy of meetings in glass-walled offices overlooking Times Square, where editors dissected manuscripts with the precision of surgeons. "We need edge." Nathaniel, his boss, a wiry woman named Carla with a penchant for red lipstick, had said, tapping his proposal, "Your twins make their coming out a revolution, not a whimper." He nodded, pen flying across notepads. But inwardly, the word stung. Revolution. His life felt more like a quiet insurgency. Fought in stolen moments, a hurried kiss with Jordan in Central Park before dawn commutes, or late-night calls to Alex, now grinding through journalism grad school back in LA. His voice a lifeline across time zones. Jordan's move to New York had been the glue. 6 months post-airport triumph, when his firm opened a satellite office in Midtown. Their apartment a cramped walk-up in the village with exposed brick and a fire escape that doubled as a balcony became sanctuary. Walls papered in Nathaniel's evolving sketches, Jordan laughing mid-debate, Alex mid-pitch, Elena mid-innovation. Mornings started with coffee brewed strong, black, and shared over the Formica counter. Jordan's tie half nodded as he quizzed Nathaniel on plot twists. What if the twin rejects him? Real stakes, Nathaniel would counter. But that's not us. We chose each other every day. Yet beneath the domestic rhythm, fissures formed. Jordan's hours stretched into marathons. Depositions bleeding into dinners canceled last minute. It's the Rosenberg case landmark stuff, he'd explain, loosening his collar with guilty eyes. Nathaniel understood. Intellectually, the law was Jordan's fire, just as art was his. But emotionally, the empty evenings gnawed, filled with solitary walks along the Hudson where barges cut wakes like unanswered questions. He poured it into his manuscript. The protagonist, a queer artist named Elias grappling with a lover's ambition. Their twin brother, a mirror of unwavering support. Pages accumulated, raw with the scent of midnight oil and unspoken fears. One crisp October evening, as leaves skittered across Washington Square Park like confetti from a forgotten parade, Nathaniel met Alex for a video call from a bench, the fountain spray misting his phone screen. "How's the Big Apple treating my little bro?" Alex grinned, his backdrop a cluttered dorm with soccer posters curling at edges. "Bigger bites than I expected," Nathaniel replied, forcing levity. "Jordan's buried in work. Feels like I'm writing to ghosts." Alex's expression sobered, the twin intuition flaring. "Talk to him, Nate. Bottling it just ferments regret. Remember the gap year? We almost lost each other to silence." The advice echoed as Nathaniel trudged home, the subway sway lulling him into resolve. Jordan was sprawled on the couch when he entered, suit jacket discarded, laptop glowing with case notes. "Hey, love," he murmured, pulling Nathaniel down for a kiss that tasted of takeout lo mein. But as they settled, Nathaniel's words spilled unbidden. "I miss you, Jay. Not just the sex or the Sundays, the you in the mundane. This city swallows us whole." Jordan stiffened, then sighed, running a hand through his curls. "I know. The firm's pushing for partner track. It's now or never. But you're my anchor, Nate. Always." They talked until the witching hour. Vulnerabilities laid bare like exposed wiring. Jordan confessed the pressure from his conservative parents, upstate holdouts who viewed his career as redemption for that phase with Nathaniel. "They email clippings of my wins, like trophies to parade. Nathaniel shared his imposter syndrome at the publisher. Sketches rejected for being too sentimental. By dawn, they forged a pact, date nights enforced by calendar alerts, therapy for the partnership, and a joint trip home for Thanksgiving to recharge in Elena's embrace. Elena, whose empire now spanned 3 states, welcomed them with open arms and a feast that could feed a village turkey alongside pozole pie mingling with flan. Alex arrived with a new boyfriend, Marcus, a live photographer whose camera captured the chaos in candid frames. Family portrait, Marcus called. Lens trained on the twins clinking beers on the porch. Elena and Jordan debating tech ethics in the kitchen. Laughter flowed freer than wine, mending the miles. See, Elena whispered to Nathaniel later, as they washed dishes side by side. Roots don't strangle. They ground you for flight. Back in New York, the manuscript gained traction, Carla championing it to acquisitions with fervor. This has heart the kind that bleeds onto the page. Revisions honed the edges. Elias's internal monologues deepened. His twins' support textured with his own bisexual awakening, mirroring Alex's journey. Nathaniel wove in the airport vignette, fictionalized as a climax where the mother's card not only secures seats, but symbolizes societal capitulation, a metaphor for acceptance hard-won. But success invited scrutiny. A beta reader, an old college acquaintance, emailed feedback laced with barbs, too didactic on the queer stuff. Dial back, the preachiness readers want story, not sermon. The critique landed like a sucker punch, dredging insecurities Nathaniel thought buried. He spiraled, deleting chapters in fits of doubt, until Jordan found him at 3 a.m. Keyboard abandoned, head in hands. "Hey," Jordan said softly, kneeling to meet his eyes. "Your voice is the revolution, Nate. Not agenda authenticity. Who cares if it pricks? That's how change starts." Emboldened, Nathaniel refined, infusing the narrative with nuance, the messy beauty of flawed allies, the quiet heroism of everyday endurance. The book deal landed on a snowy December morning. Champagne popped in the publisher's lobby as Carla hugged him fierce. Twin Flames' brilliant title. This will ignite conversations. News rippled west. Alex hooped over FaceTime. Elena planned a launch party in LA. Her connections promising buzz. The launch itself, 6 months later in a Brooklyn bookstore aglow with fairy lights, drew a crowd that spilled onto the sidewalk, queer activists with pins glinting like stars, industry folks in sharp suits, family beaming from the front row. Nathaniel stood at the podium, heart thundering, Jordan's hand a steady pressure at his back. "This book," he began, voice steady despite the quiver, "is for the boys who shared a womb and secrets, for mothers who wield business cards like swords, for loves that weather storms. It's a map of where I've been and a lantern for where we're going." Questions poured post-reading on representation, on twin dynamics, on hope amid backlash. A young man, barely 20, approached after, eyes wide. "Your Eliash's me." "Thank you." Nathaniel's throat tightened, the impact visceral, a reminder that stories weren't solitary. They stitched souls. That night, back in the apartment, Jordan pulled him close amid scattered copies. "Proud doesn't cover it. You did Thesis. Together." Yet the high crested into unforeseen waves. Alex called weeks later, voice edged with urgency. "Nate, Elena's pushing too hard. The expansion's eating her alive." "Hard stuff?" Doc says stress. Panic surged, the family web vibrating. They converged in LA. Jordan canceling trials. Nathaniel shelving edits. Elena, pale in her hospital gown, but spirit unbroken, waved off concerns. "Just a flutter. Mija. Like old times I'm building. You boys dreaming." But the scare recalibrated priorities, board meetings delegated, family Sabbats instituted with tamales and tales. In the quiet aftermath, Nathaniel revisited his sequel outline, now threading Elena's arc, a powerhouse matriarch confronting her own vulnerabilities. Perhaps a late-blooming romance with a fellow innovator. Alex contributed plot beats over beers. His bisexuality explored through a journalist subplot. Jordan, ever the lawyer, vetted for legal accuracies. The collaboration felt organic, a testament to bonds forged in fire. By 26, as spring cherry blossoms dusted Central Park, Nathaniel proposed to Jordan not with rings, but with a custom sketch, two figures intertwined under a rainbow arch, twins flanking like guardians. "Marry me?" he asked, knees on dew-kissed grass. Jordan's yes was a sob laugh, their embrace drawing joggers' smiles. Elena officiated the ceremony a year later, in the bungalow garden, Alex's best man quipping, "Twins stick together now, it's a quartet." Vows exchanged under bougainvillea promised not perfection, but perseverance through cases won and lost. Manuscripts revised. Empires expanded. Life's tapestry wove onward. Threads of joy and jagged edges. Nathaniel's series spawned graphic adaptations. Panels alive with color that captured the twins' electric synergy. Alex's docuseries evolved into a podcast empire, amplifying marginalized athletes' voices. Elena's health stabilized, her company pioneering neurodiverse hiring initiatives. And in quiet evenings, Nathaniel and Jordan would curl on the fire escape. City lights a constellation below, hands linked in silent gratitude. The journey, Nathaniel reflected, wasn't linear, no tidy arcs from closet to catwalk. It was a spiral, circling back to touch wounds healed crooked, emerging wiser. In every page turned, every hand held, he found the truth. Family wasn't given. It was chosen, defended, celebrated. And in that choice lay the profoundest revolution of all. Summer in Manhattan baked the sidewalks into griddles, the air thick with the sizzle of street vendors and the distant wail of sirens. As Nathaniel navigated the throng toward his agent's office in Soho. At 27, with Twin Flames cresting bestseller lists and adaptation talks buzzing from Netflix scouts, he should have felt invincible. Instead, a knot of unease twisted in his gut. Born from a late-night email, diversity audit requested tone down the personal elements. The words chafed, reducing his soul bearing to checkbox fodder. A reminder that even triumphs carried asterisks in an industry addicted to optics. His agent, Miriama's silver-haired powerhouse with a laugh like gravel and gin, greeted him with espresso shots and contracts strewn like battle plans. "Darling, it's progress masked as peril," she drawled, lighting a cigarette despite the no-smoking sign. "They love the queer twin angle hooks the demo, but execs want broad appeal." Translate, less hand-holding, more explosions. Nathaniel's fingers drummed the table. Visions of his panel's tender embraces amid corporate boardrooms flashing like warning lights. It's not just story, Mir. It's us, me. Alex. The fights we clawed through. She nodded, exhaling smoke rings. Then fight smarter. Pitch the sequel as Evolution, Twins in Crisis. Love tested by fame. The idea ignited. Synapses firing as he subwayed home. Sketching thumbnails on a napkin, Elias and his twin. Now industry darlings. Navigating a scandal that mirrors Alex's real-life brush with tabloid fodder. Last month, a rival podcaster had outed Alex's fling with a married athlete. Headlines screaming bisexual betrayal. Alex had laughed it off publicly, love who you love. Own the mess, but privately. Over encrypted calls. Confessed the sting. Feels like high school amplified. Nate. Like no matter how loud I shout truth, they hear echo. Nathaniel channeled it. pounding out chapters in fevered bursts. The apartment a warren of takeout boxes and highlighters. Jordan, promoted to senior associate, balanced scales with pro bono work for queer asylum cases. His evenings now a mix of candlelit dinners and case file marathons. You're glowing, he'd say, massaging Nathaniel's shoulders after midnight sessions. This one's deeper hurts more, heals more. Their intimacy deepened too. Vulnerabilities shared in the afterglow, Jordan's fear of burnout. Nathaniel's imposter whispers. Therapy, twice monthly, became ritual a safe harbor where Dr. Leong unpacked the twin enmeshment, encouraging boundaries that strengthened rather than severed. Elena's visit in August shattered the bubble. Her arrival announced by a care package of homemade empanadas and a keynote invite to Nathaniel's industry panel. Mijo, you're the star now. She beamed over video, but lines etched deeper around her eyes. The company's latest merger weighing heavy. At the Painlin, a sunlit loft overlooking the Hudson, she sat front row. Her presence a talisman as Nathaniel fielded questions on authentic queer narratives. A heckler from the back, mic in hand, sneered. Easy to preach acceptance when mommy's a mogul. What about real struggle? The room tensed. Breaths held. But Elena rose. Voice slicing clean. Struggle. I crossed borders with nothing but dreams and 2 boys in tow. My son writes from that fire, not privilege. Listen closer. Applause thundered. The moment going viral. But Nathaniel seethed inwardly. The barb hooking old wounds. That night, over rooftop cocktails with the panelists, he cornered Elena. You didn't have to, she cut him off. Eyes fierce. I did. Because silence lets them win. You've taught me that. Nathaniel, speak your truth. Loud. Alex, flying in for the weekend. Corroborated over beers at a dive bar. Marcus in tow with his camera chronicling their chaos. Mom's right. Remember the brick. We didn't hide. We built higher. The sequel, Shadows of Flame, coalesced around that ethos. Elias facing cancellation after a leaked sketch deemed problematic. His twin rallying allies in a media maelstrom. Nathaniel wove in Elena's border-crossing backstory, fictionalized as the mother's immigrant grit fueling corporate takedowns. Revisions with Miriam sharpened the blade, cutting fluff for visceral punches arguments that echoed Nathaniel and Jordan's own tiffs over work-life bleed. Production hurdles mounted, casting rumors swirled, with straight actors eyed for Elias and his love interest, sparking online backlash. Nathaniel testified at a virtual roundtable. Voice steady. Representation isn't cosplay. Cast queer. Or it's just another mask. The studio relented. Announcements of openly gay leads trending with twin flames true. Filming commenced in Vancouver. Nathaniel on set as consultant. Heart swelling at actors channeling his words with lived nuance. But distance strained the home front. Jordan's Rosenberg Sequela class action suit against conversion camps kept him in D.C. for weeks. Calls crackling with exhaustion. Miss your sketches on the fridge. He'd murmur. Nathaniel, jet-lagged from flights, replied. Miss your tie knots gone wrong. A weekend rendezvous in Philly bridged the gap. Wandering Liberty Bell shadows. Hands linked defiantly past tour groups. We're good at this bending without breaking, Jordan said, kissing his temple. Alex's life paralleled. His podcast hitting millions. But a stalker scare threatening emails post-outing episode prompted security hires and therapy dives. Fame's a double-edged sword. Bro. He confessed during a twins-only retreat in the Catskills. Hiking trails slick with autumn rain. Around a campfire. Marshmallows charring. They unpacked the symbiosis, how Nathaniel's art voiced Alex's unspoken. Alex's bravado armored Nathaniel's tenderness. We're better together, Nathaniel said. Clinking bottles. Always were. Elena's health flickered again, that winter a minor procedure. Doctors assured, but it catalyzed a family summit in L.A. Snowbirds fleeing New York's chill. Over Elena's legendary pozole. They drafted Vasquez Accords, quarterly gatherings. No excuses. Phones silenced. Marcus documented it. His photos capturing Elena's laugh lines. The twins' mirrored gestures. Jordan's quiet inclusion. "This is legacy," he said, framing a print. As shadows wrapped principal photography. Premieres loomed. The red carpet in Toronto buzzed electric. Nathaniel in a tailored suit with rainbow cufflinks. Jordan's arm a steady anchor. Flashes popped like gunfire. Questions probing. "How does it feel seeing your life on screen?" Nathaniel paused, glimpsing Elena in the wings. Alex waving from the bleachers. "Surreal? But it's not just my nights, ours. The seats we claimed. The cards we played." Reviews poured acclaim. A searing evolution, twin souls in a fractured world. Box office soared. Awards chatter hummed. Yet the true measure came in letters, a teen from rural Ohio. "Your book saved me from the edge." Nathaniel read them aloud to Jordan on quiet evenings. Tears salting pages. Gratitude, a warm tide. 28 brought pivot. Nathaniel eyeing a master's in narrative therapy. Blending art with healing. Jordan contemplating public defense over corporate grind. Alex proposed to Marcus under LA stars. The wedding a multicultural mashed tacos and bagels. Toasts in Spanglish. Elena danced with abandon. Her empire stable. Heart mended. Through it. Nathaniel's journal filled with affirmations. We are not defined by storms, but by the harbors we build. The journey spiraled upward. Each loop richer. The twin flame burning eternal, a beacon for wanderers seeking home. The scent of fresh bagels and exhaust fumes mingled in the dawn haze of a Brooklyn morning. As Nathaniel laced up his running shoes. The city awakening in symphonic chaos around him. At 29. With Shadows of Flame netting Oscar nods and his therapy program at NYU gaining traction. Life hummed with purpose. Yet a subtle undercurrent tugged at a restlessness. Like a sketch half-rendered. Urging him toward uncharted lines. Jordan stirred in their bed as he dressed. Mumbling. Early bird gets the therapy notes. Nathaniel chuckled. Bending for a kiss. Something like that. Love you back by coffee time. His runs along the East River had become meditation. Feet pounding pavement in rhythm with thoughts untangling. The program Narrative Arts for Trauma Survivors dovetailed his worlds, guiding queer youth through story mapping. Turning scars into scripts. Last session. A non-binary teen named Riley had unveiled a monologue born from rejection. Words raw as open wounds. You made it safe. Riley whispered after. Nathaniel carried that weight lightly. A privilege earned through his own excavations. Back home. Jordan had breakfast waiting avocado toast. His specialty laptop open to briefs for a Supreme Court amicus on trans rights. Heard from Alex. He asked. Pouring orange juice. Nathaniel nodded. Sliding into the stool. Wedding planning's a circus. Marcus wants drones for aerial shots. Alex vetoed for too dystopian. Laughter bubbled. But sobered as Nathaniel added. Mom's keynote at Davos nervous for her. Global stage. Old ghosts. Elena's talk on inclusive tech had invitations flooding. But crossing into international spotlights stirred memories of borders breached. Accents mocked. They flew to LA for the wedding weekend. The planes hum a lullaby over amber fields. Alex greeted them at LAX with bear hugs. Marcus trailing with garment bags. Twins reunited, world beware. Alex quipped, though his eyes held a flicker of pre-vow jitters. The rehearsal dinner unfolded in the bungalow's expanded garden. Fairy lights twinkling against bougainvillea. Elena's catering crew weaving Mexican-Israeli fusion, empanadas stuffed with falafel. Toasts flowed Jordan's eloquent on partnerships' quiet labors. Nathaniel's on brotherhood's unspoken vows. Alex, you defended my truths before I knew them. Now, defend this happiness fierce. The ceremony dawned golden. A hilltop venue overlooking the Pacific. Waves crashing benediction. Alex, dapper in a linen suit, fidgeted at the altar until Marcus appeared. Path lined with wildflowers. His smile dissolving nerves. Vows exchanged in Hebrew and English. Rings' simple gold bands etched with intertwined flames nod to Nathaniel's motif. As they kissed, crowd erupting, Nathaniel gripped Jordan's hand, tears blurring the scene. Elena, beside them, whispered, "Full circle. Mijo." From single mom to this tapestry. Honeymoon photos flooded feeds Alex and Marcus parasailing in Cabo, but the real gift was the family pulse. Steady amid life's accelerations. Back east, Nathaniel's program expanded. Grants secured for satellite workshops in underserved boroughs. One evening, a guest speaker, a trans elder from Stonewall, Day shared war stories. Her voice gravel-worn but unbowed. "We didn't march for comfort. We marched for you to thrive." Nathaniel absorbed it, channeling into curriculum, legacy circles where elders mentored youth. Threads connecting eras. Jordan's SCOTUS brief landed arguments. The courtroom a coliseum of precedent and passion. Nathaniel watched via stream, heart in throat, as Jordan dismantled archaic statutes. Voice resonant. Victory came narrow. 5-4. Cheers erupting in their living room where friends gathered. Rainbow flags draped like banners. "You changed history," Nathaniel murmured later. Bodies entwined in celebration. Jordan's reply was humble. "We did, your stories fueled the fire." Elena's Davos triumph followed. Her speech, Tech for the Marginalized, coding compassion, trending worldwide. Partnerships blooming with NGOs. But jet lag hit hard. A cough lingering that doctors dismissed as travel fatigue. "Listen to your body, Mom," Nathaniel urged over calls. Worry gnawing. She waved it off. "Immortal. Remember. Focus on your exhibit." His first solo show, Entwined Echoes, loomed at a Chelsea gallery. Canvases chronicling twinship through queer prisms, abstracts of merged silhouettes. Portraits of Alex and Marcus midlaugh. Opening night drew throngs, Carla toasting sales. Miriam haggling deals. Elena flying in despite fatigue. Her arm linked with Nathaniel's as they mingled. A collector, grizzled with discerning eyes, paused at a piece depicting the airport standoff, mother handing card. Twins defiant. Power in vulnerability. He mused. Nathaniel nodded. "That's the arc strength from surrender." Post-show glow faded into autumn's chill. Elena's cough worsening. A routine check revealed early stage lung cancer. Treatable if caught swift. The call shattered Thanksgiving plans. Family converging in LA's sterile halls. Elena, foredripped but mascara intact, quipped, "Cancer's no match for Vasquez grit." Chemo commenced. Her boardroom commandeered as command center. But the twins tag-teamed, Alex handling media. Nathaniel bedside vigils with sketchpads, drawing her portraits to keep the fighter's face fresh. Jordan coordinated logistics. His legal mind mapping treatments. Appeals for experimental trials. Team Vasquez. He dubbed it. Morale buoyed by movie nights in her hospital room old westerns. Her favorite. Vulnerability surfaced in whispers. Elena confessing regrets, missed recitals for deadlines. Borders crossed, but scars unhealed. "You boys mended me," she told Nathaniel one dawn. Hand frail in his. "Your loves. Your truth's me greatest innovation." Remission came spring blooming. Scans clear. Elena emerging phoenix-like. Hair shorn to chic pixie. Spirit amplified. Perspective gift. She declared, funneling company profits to cancer research for underserved. The scare reshaped rhythms, her semi-retirement. Consulting from home. Family migrations eastward. Alex and Marcus scouting NYC lofts. Nathaniel's exhibit toured. Touching hearts in Chicago. San Francisco letters pouring of lives mirrored. A workshop in Harlem birthed a youth collective. Flame Keepers. Mentoring mini Nathaniels. Jordan. Eyeing judgeship. Balanced with pro bono passion projects. Their marriage a dance of support. Anniversaries in Paris. Stolen weekends in the Berkshires. 30 dawned with a twins trip to Mexico. Elena's roots. A pilgrimage of sorts. Cobblestone streets of Guadalajara echoed with mariachi. Markets bursting tamales and textiles. At a family hacienda. Elders shared tales of queer ancestors veiled in code. Nathaniel sketching voraciously. History's a chain. Elena said. Tequila in hand. We add links unbreakable. Back home. The spiral ascended. Book 3 outlined. Therapy program franchised. Elena's memoir ghosted by Nathaniel's pen. Alex's podcast pivoted to global queer voices. Marcus's photos accompanying. Jordan's confirmation hearings loomed. Nerves frayed but fortified by Nathaniel's affirmations. In quiet moments. River runs at dusk. Nathaniel pondered the arc, from VIP seats claimed to legacies laid. The journey. Ever unfolding. Whispered one truth loves the ultimate hook. Pulling us through tempests to dawn. Winter's grip loosened into a tentative thaw. The Hudson's ice floes cracking like brittle promises. As Nathaniel bundled against the wind for his NYU lecture. At 31. With the Flame Keepers collective thriving and Elena's memoir hitting shelves to critical acclaim. His days layered like sediment teaching mornings. Consulting afternoons. Evenings lost to Jordan's campaign trail. The judgeship bid had escalated. Town halls in upstate hamlets where rainbow pins drew side eyes, but Jordan's eloquence won converts. Justice isn't partisan. He'd thunder. Nathaniel in the audience. Pride swelling fierce. Yet the pace exacted tolls. Alex. Now a media consultant from his village apartment. Marcus commuting for freelance gigs confided over brunches at their go-to diner. Honeymoon phase hit reality. His shoots take him globetrotting. I'm rooted in edits. Nathaniel mirrored the ache. Jordan's absences stretching nights into solitudes filled with half-finished canvases. Boundaries. Remember. He advised. Though his own blurred in late-night revisions for the trilogy capstone. Echoes eternal twins confronting legacy's long shadow. Love enduring entropy. Elena's book tour anchored them. Stops from Boston to Boise. Her pixie cut now threaded with celebratory scarves. In Chicago. Nathaniel joined for a dual panel, mother and son, innovating identity. The auditorium hushed as she recounted the airport card. Voice cracking on Family First. Q&A delved deep. A Latina journalist probing immigrant queerness. Elena deferring to Nathaniel. Borders shaped Usman physical. His internal. We crossed both arm in arm. Applause thundered. But backstage. She sagged. Fatigue etching lines. Proud. Mijo. Exhausted. But proud. The tour's climax in LA doubled as a Vasquez summit. Bungalow brimming with catered feasts and fire pit confessions. Marcus screened wedding outtakes. Laughter cascading. Alex proposed expanding the podcast to video. Queer stories visualized. Jordan. Fresh from a stump speech. Sketched policy tie-ins judicial reforms for family courts. Elena. Foot-soaked steaming. Unveiled her next venture. A foundation blending tech and arts for LGBTQ youth. Seated with memoir proceeds. Your flames lit this. She told the twins. Eyes misting. Spring unfurled with Jordan's hearings. Capitol Hill a gauntlet of senators' scrutiny. Nathaniel flew down. Bunking with Alex's contacts. Testifying as character witness. Jordan's integrity forged in our shared struggles defending the undefended. Loving without caveat. Confirmation passed 52-48. Cheers, echoing chambers. Swearing in loomed summer. A federal bench in Manhattan home turf victory. Nathaniel's trilogy finale demanded soul search. Elias aging into mentorship. Twin reflecting on bifurcated paths. Mother a sage bridging generations. Beta reads from Flame Keeper's Kids Infused Youth Pulses Lang Sharp. Hope's hybrid. Miriam negotiated a 7-figure deal. Your magnum opus. Darling. Launch and fall drew luminaries. Elena keynoting. Alex moderating. Jordan presiding virtually from bench prep. But mid-revisions. A curveball. Riley. His star mentee. Spiraled family rejection post coming out. Couch surfing in crisis. Nathaniel mobilized the collective. Securing emergency housing. Therapy slots. Nights blurred into advocacy. Jordan pitching legal aid. This is why, he said, after a shelter drop-off. Hands chilled but clasped. Riley stabilized. Crediting Nathaniel's workshops. You taught me my story's power, not weapon. But wand. Elena's foundation launched with Fanfario West Hollywood Center. Murals by Nathaniel. Tech labs echoing her patents. Opening ribbon cut. Youth streamed in. Eyes wide at VR simulations of safe spaces. From garage to galaxy. She toasted. Arm around Nathaniel. Alex's video pilot debuted there. Episodes raw. Trans elders recounting raids. Biathletes owning bisexuality's breadth. Jordan's investiture. Under summer sun in Foley Square. Swelled heartstrobes flowing. Gavel struck resonant. Nathaniel's speech. As efficient proxy. Wove personal. From VIP lounges to this bench. You've claimed seats for justice. Receptions spilled into their apartment. Toasts toasting till dawn. Autumn's equinox brought echoes eternal to shelves. Midnight release a carnival fans in twin cosplay. Signing stretching hours. Reviews hailed. Culmination profound love's echo eternal. Tours cities blurred. Seattle rains mirroring melancholy arcs. Austin heat fueling fiery panels. In Denver. A fan meet turned cathartica father. Teary. Your twins gave me words for my son. Nathaniel hugged him. Impact visceral. Winter circled back. Holidays hybrid. LA for Elena's Yule log. NYC for Jordan's first rulings landmark injunctions against discriminatory curricula. Alex and Marcus announced adoption pursuits. Paperwork a marathon. Nathaniel mentored Riley through college apps. Her essay on narrative rebirth. 32 dawned reflective. A twins cabin getaway in Adirondack snowshoeing trails. Bourbon by hearth. Aging graceful. Alex teased. Poking ribs. Nathaniel pondered, more like evolving. Scars mapped the man. Journals filled with queries. What legacies linger? How does flame endure? Elena's checkups clean. Foundation flourishing satellites in Chicago. Mexico City. Jordan's docket balanced heavy cases with mentorships. Nathaniel eyed directorial chair for a Flame Keeper's doc. Lens on unsung heroes. The spiral. Ever ascending. Whispered continuity. From hooks that gripped to horizons embraced. The journey a canvas infinite. Painted in hues of unyielding kin. The sizzle of rain on city streets drummed a staccato rhythm outside the gallery window. As Nathaniel adjusted his bow tie in the reflection. The date 33 etched in subtle silver on his cufflinks. Echoes Eternal's film adaptation premiered tonight, his words transmuted to screen. A surreal alchemy that both thrilled and terrified. Jordan, resplendent in tux, squeezed his shoulder from behind. Ready to see your soul celluloid. Nathaniel turned, kissing him softly. With you. Always. The theater in Tribeca pulsed with A-listers and activists. Red carpet a gauntlet of flashes and fawning. Elena arrived regal. Memoir sequel in tow. Alex and Marcus. Fresh from adoption, Finalsa toddler named Luca joining the fray. Inside. Lights dimmed. The opening credits rolling to a score that tugged heartstrings, twins' laughter echoing childhood tapes Nathaniel donated. Scenes unfolded, the airport hook visceral. Mother's card a pivot of power. Coming out whispers intimate. Rejections raw. Audience gasps punctuated climaxes. Tears glinting in the flicker. Q&A post-screening brimmed emotion. Director crediting Nathaniel's consultations. Cast sharing lived parallels. A queer teen in the front row stood. Voice quavering. This film's my mirror, thank you for the courage. Nathaniel's response choked. You're why it exists. Keep reflecting. After party swirled champagne and congratulations. But Nathaniel sought solace on the fire escape. Jordan joining with flutes. Impact incarnate. Jordan murmured. Proud beyond words. Reviews cascaded golden. Oscars buzz. Box office blaze. Awards season vortex globes. Essays family caravanning. Luca's giggles lightning gowns. Win for adapted screenplay elated. Nathaniel's speech a love letter. To twins who shared secrets. Mothers who shared strength. Loves who shared loads, this echoes ours. Post-glory. Nathaniel dove into the dock. Flamekeepers, unsung. Filming in community centers from Bronx to Bay Area. Riley. Now a junior. Co-directed segments. Her lens capturing elders' vigils. Youth's visions. Elena's foundation funded edits. Tech ensuring accessibility, closed captions in Spanglish. VR for remote viewers. Jordan's bench grew influential. Dissents sparking legislation. Pro bono hours mentored young queer lawyers. Alex's media firm boomed. Luca's antics viral in bloopers. Elena. Semi-retired bliss. Dated a soft-spoken engineer. Dinners doubling as strategy sessions. Mid-30s broad introspection, Nathaniel 34. A sabbatical for global workshops, Berlin's queer archives. Tokyo's ally marches. Jordan joined for Tokyo leg. Cherry blossoms framing quiet talks on legacy. Kids. Jordan broached. Tentative. Nathaniel paused. Heart open. Someday surrogacy. Adoption. Our story's big enough for more chapters. Homecoming heralded Elena's 60th bash in the bungalow. Generations mingling, Mexican ants dancing salsa. Luca toddling rainbows. Nathaniel's gift, a mural wall. Family portraits evolving childhood grins to elder wisdoms. Toasts toasted resilience, from cards handed to courts conquered. The doc premiered at Tribeca. Standing ovations thundering. Distribution deals followed. Impact rippling school curricula adopting. Policy shifts seeded. Riley's credit launched her career. Full circle poignant. 35 swirled changes. Jordan's elevation to appeals court. Nathaniel's tenure at NYU. Alex's second child en route. Elena's romance deepened. Trips to Mexico weaving roots anew. A health scare revisited Elena's routine, skin spotting polyps. Preempted early. Family rallied seamless. Her quip, Vasquez women don't fade. We upgrade. Recovery infused gratitude. Foundation expanding to elder care. Nathaniel's next project, graphic memoir hybrid. Twins dual POVs on queerness across decades. Collaborating with Alex. Page's pulse synergy is art. Alex's narrative punch. Anniversary 33rd Jordan and Nathaniel renewed in Central Park. Vows updated. Through benches and books. We endure. Witnesses, Elena. Alex's clan. Riley's crew. The spiral. Luminous. Affirmed, journeys entwine. Flames flicker, faithful echoes eternal in every step shared. Autumn leaves carpeted the paths of Prospect Park. A mosaic of crimson and gold underfoot. As Nathaniel pushed the stroller along winding trails. Luca's cousin Sophia, Alex, and Marcus's newborn cooing softly against the autumn chill. At 36, with the graphic memoir in proofs and Jordan's appeals docket demanding, fatherhood's prospect loomed vivid, no longer abstract. She suits you, Alex teased, jogging up with coffee carriers. Marcus trailing with diaper bag duty. Uncle Nate, baby whisperer. Nathaniel grinned, bouncing the carrier, just channeling mom's magic. Elena's influence permeated. Her 62 now a whirlwind of foundation galas and abuela duties. Sophia's christening her latest triumph blending traditions in a backyard ceremony. Tamales alongside tefillin. Her romance with Raphael, the engineer. Flowered steady, joint ventures in sustainable tech. Weekends vineyard hopping in Napa. Love late is love deep, she'd say, winking at Nathaniel's surrogate consultations. The memoir proofs arrived mid-park. Nathaniel poring over spreads on a bench ink capturing the airport's tension. Twins' eyes locked defiant. Alex leaned over, spot on. That hook still guts me. Critiques honed. Add Luca's innocence as epilogue foil. Elena's card as talisman recurring. Publisher raves. Masterstroke of visual visceral. Jordan's elevation hearing dissected his record. Senators probing biases. Nathaniel prepped mock Q&As. Role-playing conservatives. Confirmation squeaked through. Celebration intimate. Rooftop dinner. Elena toasting. From immigrant to icon justice, arc bends true. Fatherhood crystallized over holidays. Nathaniel and Jordan selecting a surrogate. MIAA painter from Flame Keepers alumni bonding over brunches. Pregnancy announcements synced with memoir launch. Dual headlines. Twins' tale turns tender new dad duo. Book tour memoir morphed multimedia, live drawings. Alex narrating audio. Cities cheered. Boston book clubs dissecting duality. Austin Fest screening clips. Fan encounters Deep Anita by Dad in Portland. Your Alex gave me permission. Spring birthed their son. Theo named for theorists of change. Cries echoing delivery room joy. Elena held first. Tears salting tiny brow. Vasquez chain unbroken. Alex's Luca, big bro duties charmed. Sophia's gurgles harmonizing. Paternity leave wove domestic poetry. Nathaniel sketching Theo's fists. Jordan lullabying legal limericks. Workshops adapted virtual. Youth voices threading in. Elena's foundation hit milestone thousands served gala honoring Nathaniel. Jordan keynoting. Summer sabbaticals, family compound in Hamptons. Beaches bombed to briefs and brushes. Twins surfed waves. Kids building sand empires. Elena and Raphael grilling tales of old Mexico. Fall re-entry, Theo's daycare debut. Nathaniel's fall semester buzzing. A controversy brewed memoir excerpt misconstrued online. Trolls twisting queer twinship into caricature. Backlash stung. But allies amplified. Riley's op-ed. Alex's podcast rebuttal. Resolution came organic. Town hall hosted. Dialogues defusing daggers. Misreads hurt. Nathaniel admitted. But stories invite empathy lean in. 37 layered loss and light. Raphael's proposal to Elena accepted. Wedding intimate beachside. Vows in twilight. Nathaniel Bestman sketched vows live. Gift eternal. Theo's first steps toward Jordan's chambers. Gavel mini in chubby grip. Alex's firm expanded. Media ethics focus. Nathaniel's doc sequel greenlit. Theo cameo potential. The spiral. Familial fortified. Sang, from seats seized to seeds sown. Echoes multiply in Minikin's mirth. The hum of cicadas wove through the vineyard rows in Napa. Sun dipping low to gild the vines like threads of liquid amber. As Nathaniel swirled his Cabernet, Theo balanced on his hip with grape-stained fingers. At 38, with Elena and Raphael's honeymoon glow lingering and the doc sequel in pre-pro. Life's ledger balanced bountiful yet a quiet query nagged. What horizons beckon when peaks plateau? Jordan. across the picnic blanket, caught his gaze, reading unspoken as ever. Penny for the philosopher. Nathaniel smiled, shifting Theo, just tracing the next line. Elena's marriage had catalyzed Cascades, joint foundation with Raphael's green tech. Initiatives solar-powering queer shelters worldwide. Her 70 loomed. But vitality belied years yoga mornings. Board stratagems. Second act's fiercer. She'd quip. Theo's playdates her delight. Alex's empire crested, ethics summit in Davos. Luca and Sophia starring in family PSAs. Marcus's gallery show queer family portrait sold out. One of Nathaniel and Theo fetching record. Doc sequel filming immersed, flame forward. Tracking collective alums like Riley. Now therapist training. Locations spanned Harlem hubs to Havana hideaways. Nathaniel directing with visceral eye. Jordan guest narrating legal arcs. Theo's toddler tyranny charmed. Alphabet blocks toppled into art supplies. First words draw and daddy. Surrogacy talks for siblings surfaced. Mia eager redux. Paternity deep in Jordan's descent's family leave mandates woven in. Memoirs anniversary edition added forward. Theo's doodles annotating margins. Whimsy to wisdom. Reprints surged. School adoptions inspiring curricula. Elena's birthday bash fused worlds. Napa Estate. Guests global queer icons. Tech titans. Nathaniel's toast, Mom. Your card opened doors. Your heart built homes. Dance floor swirled. Theo twirling with Sophia. Luca DJing beats. Fall foliage framed NYU's tenure grant. Nathaniel's chair in narrative healing. Students bloomed. A trans poet publishing chapbook. Inspired circles. Controversy revisited subtly. Appeals ruling on curriculum bans drew death threats. Jordan's security upped. Family fortified Alex's media savvy spinning narratives. Nathaniel's art therapy for stress. Resolution in retreat, Adirondacks redux. Twins and Tots snow Angeline. Legacies living. Alex mused. Fort building. Nathaniel nodded. Not endpoints expansions. 39 heralded Theo's preschool. Tears and triumphs. Elena's foundation globalized Mexico City Center dedicated to her parents' memory. Raphael's solar grids lit pride parades. Doc's sequel premiered Sundance. Ovations echoing impact. Distribution nonprofit. Profits to collectives. Sibling journey culminated. Surrogate pregnant. Gender surprise party balloons bursting blue boy. Elias. Nod to fictional kin. The spiral. Progeny propelled. Proclaimed. Flames fan forward. Seats for all and stories unbound.
घर की ऐसी सागे स्मोक आकाश एहू बढ़े का तंस का सीख करता है 2 टीम्स में जार असलदा कब 100